Hey, what's up, guys? Happy Tuesday. All right, before we get into too much detail, I think it is worth noting that the weather around the United States today, there's a lot of hot, humid, and winds blowing out today, whether it's in New York, Baltimore, Philly, Chicago, and New York. It's something worth noting. Not only is it yellow-orange for rain, it's also great hitting weather, which kind of gives a bump down to both Hamels and DeGrom today. And the bats were rolling last night as they got after both Lester and Syndergaard. So it's just, I don't think you need to change too much of your decision making today, but it's definitely worth reading over.
Yeah, and it seems to me like it's hitting weather pretty much all across the country. I don't know about you right now. I haven't asked you yet. Is it like, do you guys have a heat wave going on right now?
Yeah, it's leaving pretty soon though. It's supposed to cool down. My bartending shift got called out tonight though because we had crazy storms last night, and we're supposed to have them here again a little bit tonight. So
Because we had a heat wave like all week here. It is 92 plus every day this week.
yeah, we haven't had it that bad, so a little bit different. But getting on to pitching tonight, look, if you want to roster Max Scherzer, I get it. He is, without question, to me, the best pitcher in baseball right now. And with Kershaw having faded, DeGrom's having a better year, but he's the best pitcher in baseball. If you want to roster him at any point, I'm never going to tell you it's nuts. It's just not optimal place for him. On the road, good hitting weather against a team that just saw him.
I feel similar to about Scherzer and DeGrom. I know the winds are worse in Chicago, but the hitting weather is really good in Philly. I think that, I probably won't play either of these guys, but if you love either of them, you can play them. Honestly, I feel similar about both of them.
Right? Yeah, again, DeGrom has been amazing this year, but he's not always the same guy away from home. Like the split isn't huge this year, but it is, his numbers are better at home. Opponent batting average allowed 30 points better, whip, 0.15 better for his career. He's always been a split guy. The Cubs are good. The wind is blowing out. I mean, it's such a bad spot for him. Now, if he's on, he'd dominate anybody. He could dominate an all-star team if he's got his stuff rolling 100%, but it's not a great spot to want to prioritize 12-2.
I'm with you.
What about Nola? I would have actually more of a desire to play Nola today than Scherzer. I mean, first off, Aaron Nola deserves his due. He is only averaging 3.8 points less than Max Scherzer, but he's 2K less. He's been better at home. Philly's been better at home. He just dominated this Washington team. That's back-to-back amazing starts. I don't love it, the perfect spot for him, but he's amazing. And 10-6, is a good price for him.
I feel real similar to him as I do the other top two guys, but I get your points that why he'd be a little bit ahead, namely because he's 2K cheaper and he seems to have pretty much the same numbers. So for me, I probably won't roster any of these guys. I get your points.
All right. So are you more of on Flaherty?
I like Flaherty, but to be honest with you, I'm kind of thinking about what we talked about, and I think I'm going to spend down a little bit because there's guys a little bit cheaper that I have much interest in.
Okay. Flaherty has pitched amazing. What is it now? 5 starts in a row? It was at least 4. And at no point has he been bad, with the exception of one start at San Francisco. So Pittsburgh got their bats going a little bit over the weekend, but they've also weirdly owned Milwaukee this year, like almost like a big brother, little brother type of thing. Whereas if you want to play Flaherty at home tonight against Pittsburgh, he just tossed up a 28 spot on them. I think he is actually is he as good as these other guys? That's hard to say, but right now he's pitching just as well as they are.
I'm with you, and we talked about that a little bit before. I like in one vacuum, I like him more than the other top guys because he's pitching really well. He's a little bit cheaper in the best matchup. On the other hand, I struggle with spending 10-4 for Flaherty and passing on Scherzer, DeGrom, Nola, Carrasco, guys a little bit cheaper. It's tough because of the name value there, but as we always say, names are just names. So I get anyone who wants to use Flaherty here.
All right. I would use Flaherty or Nola over Carrasco. Carrasco's really good at times. He has his struggles at home. He's been up and down against Minnesota this year. There's just too much of an unknown here that I would trust Buchholz, Flaherty, and Nola over him. That being said, his upside is always good anytime he goes out there.
Agree with you.
Okay. A lot of guys to talk over on pitching today. Walker Buehler has been amazing lately. but it's just so hard to toss somebody out at Texas. That's a tough place to go.
Yeah, I'd use Flaherty over Buehler.
All right, we agree on that one as well. If you want to use Buchholz, go for it. I would have said a couple weeks ago he doesn't have the upside for this, but he has just flat out been one of the best pitchers in baseball this year while he's been out there. And it's weird to me because we talked about this one at length. I never thought he would make it back to the majors, much less be one of the best pitchers in the majors for this season. And he's been amazing. And San Francisco's a bad baseball team offensively. You know what I mean? So if you like him, go do your thing. It seems like a lot to pay for him, but he's been awesome.
I'm with you, man. I like both pitchers from this game. I'm starting to like more and more. No one wants to pay $10K for Buchholz, but he's 30+ in his past two. Yeah, in play.
Yep, it's got a good matchup, everything that goes along with it. Hamels has been amazing for Chicago. I struggle to go here tonight, though.
Same.
It's just a bad spot for a pitcher. Even if they say the rain is no big deal, I mean, put it this way. He just threw up that 33, but do we really expect a complete game from him again? I don't. I mean, I think that's kind of pie in the sky, unrealistic. He's only had a couple of them, over the last few years. If you really like it, I get it, but it is such a bad spot for the pitchers today in this year.
I think on another slate he'd be more in play because he's been really good. There's just a lot of other options I like better, but I'm in agreement with you. It's hard to pick on this slate a guy with that type of hitting weather.
Yeah, I'm a Charlie Morton fan, but I don't like him enough to want to play him today.
No, thank you.
All right. Kyle Freeland has been really, really good, but Angels should feel a little bit confident tonight. He's also oddly been a lot better at home, which is still kind of weird. I don't mind him, but I don't really love him tonight.
I don't mind him either. I still don't buy those home road splits because it's like it just doesn't make sense. But, hey, the numbers are the numbers. He's in play here. I like the price tag. We talked about how underrated he's been. I think he's in play. I don't know if I'll end up with him on my roster, though.
I don't think I will. The Angels reminded me last night because I watched most of the John Gray start, and a lot of that was just on John Gray not having his swing and miss stuff. They don't strike out a lot. Even though they're not a very good offense, they just don't K a ton.
No, especially now with Trout back. Ohtani looked good last night. So, yeah, that's big for them.
All right, so you like Bumgarner in this spot, huh?
I do like Bumgarner. I can't believe I like Bumgarner. But he looked really good his last start. I get it. It's at the Mets, but he's also not as good on the road. I think that part of me is looking at this like this is San Francisco's like if they lose this series, they're done. Now, they might already be done. I'm fully aware of that, but I'm not sure they think that. I think this is a get-up spot for Bumgarner again here. I like the price tag. I'm debating it in my head, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, I think he's very viable today. 32 is kind of pie in the sky, but I also don't expect him to have a bad start like 9.5. I think 20 is a very realistic start out of him tonight.
Same.
All right, so Teheran, no thanks. He's pitched well for the most part lately, but I guess if you really like it. I struggle to go there, even though Tampa's probably cooled down now because they had the day off. I struggle to go there.
Same.
All right, Lance Lynn has had some monster starts against Chicago this year, or two really, really good ones. I actually pulled those up. He just pitched 7.1 innings with 9 Ks and only allowed 2 hits against the White Sox. He had another start earlier this year where he went 6 innings and struck out 7, struck out 8 in a different one where he gave up some runs. So he is king this roster a lot, but there's so many options today that I feel like he just kind of falls off.
Same. I don't know, especially after what the White Sox did to Tanaka last night. I think he's going to get love here.
Yeah, I can see it. It's another spot with really good hitting weather tonight. We've seen Lance Lynn with some blow-up starts. The White Sox looked confident last night.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on this.
I feel like he falls out just outside of my favorite pitchers for the night. Like he won't make my top 3.
I'm with it.
All right, so much love to Matthew Boyd for the nice start the other day. I don't like him as much here, although it seems like a pretty safe play for him. Although he's another guy. He's just not nearly as good on the road, but we know KC is bad and struggles against lefties. He just tossed up 23 at KC.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to do here either because it does seem like a safe spot, but I hate going to like these so-called safe spots where the pitcher's not that good. Like what's weird about Boyd versus Junis is this is another one of those where I could see a pitcher's duel here. I could see the hitters getting after it a little bit. Obviously, I like Junis a little more than Boyd, but just bad teams. It's always hard with these bad teams.
All right, he's faced Kansas City 3 times this year. He's got, I mean, all of his starts have been okay. He's had one good one and 2 mediocre ones. I go, I don't think it's a bad play. I just don't want to spend 7-6 on it.
I'm with it.
All right. Now we kind of fall into like these middle round guys. Like this Pannoni guy just dominated Baltimore, but he's a kind of a low strikeout pitcher that I don't have a lot of interest in paying 7.3 for.
He looked really good. Like I said to you before, this is one it probably will end up being like a Mandy special where I don't use Pannone, I don't use Baltimore bats, but I could see both of them.
Yeah, like I might use it like a Mancini.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I'm not stacking Baltimore. Kyle Gibson has pitched well on the road this year, but Cleveland's one of the teams I kind of like tonight, so no thank you.
No.
Junis I like if the weather holds out, which is another one we'll have to watch.
Yeah, I'm on board with Junis because I'm really struggling to find other guys here that I like. No.
Yeah, no thanks.
I'm like over him. We used him to some success earlier. Now against Miami, nah.
No to Desclafani, no to Edwin Jackson. The one guy I would bring up down here, coming off of 2 starts that didn't go very well. He's given up 27 hits over his last 3 starts. I watched a good portion of the Cincinnati and Chicago Cubs starts. I don't know if I've ever seen a guy get so unlucky on back-to-back starts. I bet you out of those 19 hits, I bet you 12 of them have like the prediction rate of being a hit on like exit velo and launch angle of like under 25%. But I've never seen so many bloopers and infield hits against a guy in back-to-back games. Bad defense, things like that. The one nice part about him is now he's 5,900.
Yeah.
And that's really low cost. You there?
Yeah, sorry. I was going to say you had me at 5,900.
Right? Because his stats look so bad right now, but
he's not that bad.
Yeah, in the inning that he gave up all those runs last week, he legitimately made, if things worked out percentage-wise, like 7 outs in that inning or 8 outs.
I'm surprised you said 25% for those hit percentages because I was going to say under 15%.
You know, maybe I was being a little bit generous, and it's hard to remember all of them. I don't have any stats to back it up. But, yeah, like it was just infield hit after blooper after infield hit on back-to-back games. It was crazy unlucky. So this will keep the masses away from him, wouldn't you think?
Definitely. And look, spending that at pitcher, if you feel okay about a guy last night, like yesterday I ended up feeling okay about Stratton. And I'm not saying that, obviously that was a lot of luck, but when you get guys and you can start to feel a little bit good about them, I'd rather feel good about this guy at 5'9" than the same way at a guy at 8'9".
Exactly, because it allows you to load up and get up, you know, as many Dodgers as you want and things like that. So, I mean, is it a great play? No, but it also, like, this guy's gotten into a lot of bad luck this year, and he still has an ERA under 4. He still has a WHIP of, 1.36, which is right around your league average. I don't know. I don't mind
like the ballpark here, but Cincy's lineup does not scare me right now. And, like, he's in play. I think that's just what he is.
Do you know what I expect out of him tonight? Very similar to his start at Cincy on 628. About 16 points, pitches about 6 innings, strikes out a handful of guys, gives up a few runs. It gives you about 16 points. That would be my guess for him tonight, which I'm good with at 5,900. You can pair him. Like, let's say you go Guerra, Bumgarner, and now you're at 4,400 an offensive guy. Like, that works. And hell, you can take Bumgarner out of there. You want to bump up to even like a Flaherty. You're still at 4,200. And even if you want to go all the way up to like a Max Scherzer, you're still going to be at close to 4K.
Yeah, that Guerra gives you Guerra gives you the ability to do that. That's a good point.
And then after him, like, there's really not much of anything. I think your best bet at that point is probably Ivan Nova, and I have zero desire to play him.
Yeah, I have no desire to play Nova here.
None. Zero. Zilch. Zip. Nada. That's about it. I think it ends at Guerra for me personally.
Yeah, I want to see about, the Tampa bullpen, but I'm always looking at that. That's kind of, something I like to see, and I don't think it's going to be today for my boy Beeks. So yeah, I'm with you, man. I think that all these guys are guys we can pick on offensively. Do you think Felix gets love here?
He sucks. I don't know. Maybe
he's so bad, and he's really bad on the road.
Right, like batting average allowed close to 300 on the road, ERA of 7.46. I just can't imagine he gets love.
It's a Manny special.
Yeah, I'd rather play San Diego bats. Now.
I would too, but it's 15-game slate.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not really going here. Okay. Offensively, I think we have a handful of spots that we both like. And let's start at the bottom and work our way up from the pitchers. The Los Angeles Dodgers are, to quote, ourselves, crush spot. Bad pitcher, great ballpark, lineup that kills right-handed pitching. I think, especially in cash games, you want to go a couple deep on LA. Like Machado a lot. Dozier's cheap, even though I don't love him. But Bellinger, Max Muncy, I have some interest in all these guys.
Yeah, same. The Dodgers are in the best spot on paper of the day. It's not close.
Okay, so expect them to be a staple of cash games. I just think it's the obvious spot. Does obvious mean it's going to work out the best? No, but I have a lot of trouble imagining the Dodgers scoring less than 4 runs today.
I'm definitely with you there.
All right, next up. Jacob Nix is not that great. I'm not really interested in going to Seattle here.
Same. Bad ballpark, no DH. No. He's bad. The Angels' bullpen is bad.
So sure, maybe you take a look at Colorado tonight. If it's a bullpen game for LA, their bullpen's awful. So I think anybody over there is worthy of a look. I
will say, though, sorry to interject, I agree with you, but I'm not sure if you were getting here. I don't love stacking against bullpen games usually.
No, not necessarily. I don't mind any of the Colorado guys as a one-off, but it's not like any of them are like red hot. Like Blackman's got a nice eye right now. I'm fine with any of them. Don't specifically love any one specific person.
100% with you.
Okay. Same kind of goes for Atlanta. It's a bullpen game for Tampa Bay. I'm okay with any one of them. I don't really love anyone in specific.
Yeah, I actually have less interest in Atlanta because at least Tampa knows what they're doing with their bullpen guys too. So it is very similar. I'd prefer Colorado pieces.
I think Boston gets overlooked today because they've been slumped for so long.
Yes.
Boston's got great hitting weather. You got Urena, who is coming off of 6-game suspension. He is very up and down. I think this game
same
could get overlooked.
Agreed. This is a good spot because they're you always try to harp into me. Boston is good. So they're not like a shitty team that's going under the radar. They're freaking good.
Yeah. They have 2 of the top 5 MVP candidates in Mookie Betts and JD Martinez. You got another guy in Benintendi who gets kind of forgotten about, but is also a great DFS guy. And after their outfield, it gets a little weaker, but I could see playing the Boston outfield today and they could get you 70 points.
Same. Basically the Angels outfield last night, I could see very similar. I'm with you. That's a great call.
It's another spot with great hitting weather too. 10 to 15 mile an hour winds blowing out. Plus, you got a team in Boston here that struggled. I think they've lost 4 or 5 in a row or something. At least 3. They
got swept by Tampa after they had beat Cleveland a couple of times. So they've lost 5 of 8.
They're just getting home after an extended road trip. They got the day off yesterday. This seems like a crush spot, in my opinion.
Same. I'm with you. I don't go to Boston that much either, but I think they get overlooked, and I love that.
15-game slate. Dodgers are another team that gets a lot of love. We'll pull away from them.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's a good spot tonight. All right, moving up from there. Again, Nova and St. Louis. I don't mind St. Louis, but it's for me, this one becomes a Manning special.
Same.
Okay. Now we move up to James Shields at New York in great hitting weather. This is a spot I got some love for New York tonight, specifically Gleyber Torres, who after hitting a rough patch, which is not unusual for rookies, has really been going nicely. the last week or so. He's running bases, hitting for power. He's got a bunch of nice games lately. I like Gleyber Torres a lot tonight in all formats.
Yeah, and I will say, because he's right up there, Torres, who's 2.8, was in the lineup last night for cap savings.
Yeah, if he makes the lineup again today, which, he's been doing pretty consistently lately. I mean, we don't love Torres, but you know what? We love 2.8.
Right? So, yeah, I'm with you. I think the Yankees are fine here. I think I prefer Boston just because of the ownership angle, but I'm with it.
I think the Yankees, which neither one of us really got why they were so highly owned last night, I think a lot of people, because it's a big slate, will be a little bit annoyed by the Yankees last night, and more people will shift over to the Dodgers and things like that. I do think they're not going to be like unpopular, but I don't think they're going to be like uber chalk either.
I think the Dodgers definitely get the most love. I do think that the Yankees come in close behind that, because the other thing is, and this kind of is, people love to roster the Yankees no matter what. That's partly why they were high owned last night, and they will not always be high owned, but they always get the benefit of the doubt.
Yep, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. All right, and then the other team that I love tonight is the Houston Astros versus Edwin Jackson. So
it seems like Houston. Like, I know we haven't talked about them yet, but just talking with you before we've gotten on air and stuff. Like, if I had to pick your favorite offense, I would say Houston.
I like Houston a lot tonight. Again, I think the Dodgers are the most likely team to crush it, but Houston has the best way to put it, the intangible factors of
they want to destroy Oakland.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, they have a lot to play for right here. Edwin Jackson has been getting super lucky. All the peripheral numbers call for some major regression. We also know he's not this good, right? Like, he's pitched above his head as far as like ERA and WHIP goes, but he is giving up a lot of hard contact. It's just going right to people. This could be a possible crush spot for Houston. Springer, Altuve, Bregman is now red hot. I like all these guys.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. This is definitely a stacking spot, and the guys are Marwin Gonzalez is red hot. I mean, their lineup goes up and down right now, so I'm about it. And if you
they're affordable.
And if you did 3 entries, you could use different guys in each one if you wanted to, because they're deep. You could use like the main core that you wanted and just hope they blow up. I don't think that's a bad strategy here at all.
No, I think Houston would definitely give some potential. All right, moving up, Desclafani versus Milwaukee. This, to me, it's not a Manny special. I'd rather roster a couple of the Brewers guys, but this one is mostly just an ignore spot for me.
I'd rather roster Desclafani, and we feel the exact same way besides who we'd rather, so we're in agreement there.
Eric Thames owns that ballpark. Ryan Braun owns that ballpark, but it's a total just ignore spot for me. All right. Probably the same thing goes with Johnson versus the Miami Marlins. Total ignore spot for me.
If the Marlins were cheaper, I could get like a one-off, like a Brian Anderson, but he's 4.2, so probably don't need it.
All right. I do think the Cleveland Indians are another team I do have some intrigue in. So Kyle Gibson has been pretty solid this year. It's been a big big improvement for him. He's also kind of started to get hit a little bit more lately, giving up 5 home runs in his past 4 starts, which is a little bit of a bump up. I think Cleveland getting home today against a guy who a lot of guys have hit well from that team. Now, granted, a lot of that was before, and Gibson's been a much better pitcher this year, but you got good hitting weather there. Cleveland seems like another team that could use a really big offensive day.
Yeah, I'm about it. I probably won't end up on Cleveland, but I heard they never end up on Cleveland, so I get it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they're going to be like an honorable mention in my eyes, if that's a way to put it.
Cleveland's like tough for me because, like we've talked about for a while, they're in such a weird spot where they're not playing for anything. So they're hitting, their offense is awesome, and any day they can go off. And I've watched it firsthand. A lot of days they don't care as much as they should. Yeah,
I can see that. Yeah, they're probably just outside of my favorite places to go. And then,
like, that's just where you go with like the intangibles of Houston. Like, Cleveland doesn't care about Minnesota. Houston cares about Oakland. Could Cleveland outproduce Houston tonight? Sure, obviously, but I like that where our heads at thinking about it.
Yeah, and then after that, I mean, I'm pretty much out on the offenses.
Yeah, I mean, again, guys are cheap. You can one-off how you want. The only thing I'll say is that I do like a couple Baltimore pieces again, because I am thinking it's similar to last night in that Gaviglio had pitched really well against Baltimore. Pannone pitched really well against them. Just saw him. I think a couple of one-offs are fine. We talked about Mancini. VR, he looks good right now. So, yeah, that's the only That's my only other like outside the box one.
All right, let's do some quick lineup building, and let's just pretend you go Bumgarner, Lance Lynn. I think that's kind of like a middle ground. Like, we're not going all the way down to Guerra. We're not going all the way up to one of the studs. I do think that about 17K is a very likely possibility for where you land as far as the pitching budget goes. So, we move over to the catcher spot. Obviously, Grandal makes a ton of sense, but you really have to go out of your way to roster Grandal at 4,600, and that is just not a spot that I'm overly interested in doing that.
No, thank you. It's too hard to spend that much on him.
My boy Pena has been playing a lot better since coming back from the DL, but again, that's way too much money to spend on him. You could end up with Maldonado.
Oh, the one team, that we didn't talk about at all, I don't know how you feel about it because their pitcher isn't up there, is Toronto.
Yeah, I had a rough night last night.
But you know what? They're going up against a lefty, and they suck against lefties.
Yeah, there we go. Side note, Russell Martin made a few plays last night at third base. That's so impressive to me when a guy
He's good.
Yeah, he played some really good plays. He stole a hit from Tim Beckham.
Yeah, I've watched him a little bit, and he's better than expected back there. Catcher's tough because ideally you'd want to spend out here. We're going to have to wait for lineups, That's just what we're going to have to do for catcher.
Agreed. You're going to want to spend down on catcher if you can.
The guy I wanted to use here was Matt Wieters, and then, I don't want to use him facing Nola, but he's red hot.
Yeah, you don't really want to play guys against Nola, but that makes a lot of sense. I mean, there's got to be somebody that comes out today that you can spend down on. But whatever. Let's just grab Russell Martin just because. It's middle ground. All right, we go over to first base. So the Morales hot streak's over. I have plenty of love for Muncy. Obviously, I'm going to have some love for Bellinger as well in this situation.
Sure, you like Encarnacion here too.
Some, definitely. Eric Thames owns that ballpark in Cincy. I actually am not completely off of Anthony Rizzo either. Even though DeGrom is amazing, Rizzo is locked in. He's got decent numbers in his career off DeGrom. He should get at least one or two bullpen and is getting great hitting weather here. I think he'll get overlooked because of DeGrom, though.
Same. And then, if you like the Yankees, I do think Vogt's right back in play.
Definitely.
I like the Rizzo call, though. He's locked in.
Gurriel is part of Houston.
Yeah, or Tyler White.
Sure. Am I missing him? Not down there yet? Okay. Yeah, he's been hitting
Actually,
lately.
he makes a ton of sense here.
He does. He's playing some good ball lately. All right, let's stick Tyler White in there. So we got Gleyber Torres in at second. I like him a lot right there. I also like Jose Altuve a ton today. And I don't mind Brian Dozier, but I feel like I'd rather have Altuve or Torres.
I like Altuve here. And not going to lie, it's so expensive that Whit Merrifield is a GPP play at 5-1. That's insane.
Yeah, we're good there then. All right, moving over to third base. I like Justin Turner, but I don't think I like him for 5,600. He doesn't steal bases. He is, very capable of having nice days. He's playing good ball. Actually, you know what? You could probably still talk me in there.
Who's – this isn't like the best. Arenado is priced really good there.
He is. And Alex Bregman.
Yeah, Bregman.
Bregman is just on fire for one of my favorite teams today. So it's hard to rationalize paying $5,300 for him some days, but when he gets locked in on like this, he's really good.
Especially when so many guys are priced up. I mean, Max Muncy's 100 more than him. I don't think you need to rationalize it at all.
Arenado is too cheap. Moustakas looked really good on Sunday, so I'll give him that. And he's been hitting some extra base hits lately. Desclafani suffers more against lefties.
That's a nice little zone right there at 4,500.
I don't know if there's anybody on the cheap I have any interest in. It pretty much doesn't. Yeah, that about
I
covers
guess
it for me.
Eduardo Nunez at 3-4.
Sure.
If you want to go,
For
I mean,
cheap guy.
he's not a guy I hardly ever play, but today's a day I could do it. He won't be chalk.
Nope, not at all. All right, shortstop. And this is where, again, you have to be conscious of what you're spending on and why, paying down to Guerra can kind of help you if you really want to go high in offense. Like, I love Machado today. I think this is such a crush spot for him.
I love Machado. It's hard not to. And I like all the Houston guys, Bregman, Correa, and Marwin Gonzalez.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Marvin's got shortstop eligibility now. You homer again last night? No, just 3 hits with the double.
Right?
I actually prefer Marwin over Correa, who still doesn't look like Carlos Correa.
That's tough, but I get your point.
Right now, Marwin is playing better. Correa is the better overall player without question, but right now, he's playing better. Okay. I like Springer a ton in this spot for his price tag. Very, very affordable.
I feel like Mancini is going to make my roster because he helps out so much with roster construction.
Sure, let's toss his ass in the outfield right now. And now I can go back and grab another decent outfielder. Chris Taylor, for example, he works.
I would say it's a really solid lineup right here.
How's Schebler been since coming back? Yeah. I mean, you're going to be able to find somebody else in here, right? Carlos Gonzalez or Brett Gardner if he's batting near the top. Nope, not Adam Eaton. Whatever. You can always find another guy, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. That's kind of how I look at it.
You go to find that other guy, the more you can upgrade, Russell Martin or whoever you want. So, yeah.
Upgrade Martin or downgrade Martin, and then you can go grab. It's a reason to punt catcher.
Mm-hmm.
Move down a few hundred, and then you can grab Cody Bellinger.
I'm with you because essentially Russell Martin is basically like punting it anyways. So
definitely. So, all right, Dodgers smart chalk play.
One guy I wanted to bring up that has just been really freaking good that I wrote up a bunch over the weekend while you were gone, Mitch Haniger.
Yes, I did. That was one of the few things I noticed over the weekend was Haniger was good.
So, he's really expensive, but aren't they all?
Yeah, Mitch Money Haniger has been rolling lately, so, again, he makes sense too.
You won't be struggling to find guys in good spots on this slate.
No, I think you ride the Dodgers as much as you can in cash games, and I kind of like Houston and Boston in GPPs.
Same about it.
And you can play any of those guys anywhere too because they're all in good spots.
Yeah, and I mean you can see once you get starting to go Houston a little bit, you completely forget about the Dodgers. So the Dodgers will be the most popular here, but they're also real expensive. So I think you can play them in tournaments also. Agreed.
Yeah, it's kind of make a decision. Do you want to go cash? Do you want to go GPP? Or what do you want to do? Dodgers on paper makes so much sense, but Astros, Red Sox, Indians, who we kind of almost skipped over. Because like you said, too, the Indians are always tough to roster because Lindor and J-Ram are clearly the guys you want, and they're so expensive.
And the Dodgers have still left a bad taste in my mouth from when they let down in Coors last weekend. So, maybe I just need to get over that because they are in an absolute crush spot here.
Yeah. All right, guys. See you soon.
Thanks, guys.